Most people think they know Singapore. A sterile, futuristic city, state and air-conditioned nation famous for its rules, its safety, and a skyline that looks like it was ripped from a science fiction film. The clichés are well known: the city where chewing gum is contraband, the Disneyland with the death penalty, a place so orderly it feels almost inhuman. I arrived with these images in my head, expecting a journey through a living blueprint, a city of polished glass and silent efficiency. But what if that polished surface, that flawless perfection, isn't the whole story? What if it's a meticulously crafted facade, built with immense pressure and intention to conceal a far more complex, fragile, and turbulent truth? This isn't just a place on a map. It's a hypothesis about humanity being tested in real time. A nation willed into existence through sheer force of will against impossible odds. Today, we're not just going to see the sights. We're going to peel back the layers of this island nation to understand the controversial, brilliant, and often contradictory blueprint that designed its very soul. Forget the tourist trail. Let's begin the real journey. Our journey begins not with a grand monument, but in the noisy, bustling atmosphere of a local coffee shop with a humble plate of toast. This is Kaya toast from Ya Kun. At first glance, it's simple. 2 pieces of thin, crispy, charcoal grilled bread, sandwiching a generous slab of cold butter and a thick spread of kaya, a sweet, fragrant jam made from coconut and pandan leaves. On the side, 2 soft-boiled eggs, swimming in a shallow dish. The ritual is precise. You crack the eggs into the saucer, add a few drops of dark, sweet soy sauce, and a liberal dash of white pepper. Then stir it all into a creamy, savory dip for your toast. You order your coffee, your kopi, using a special local vocabulary, kopi O for black with sugar, kopi C for with evaporated milk, sudai for less sweet. This isn't just breakfast, it's a cultural algorithm. And this simple meal is our first clue. It's not some ancient, inherited tradition passed down through generations. It's a Hainanese creation, born out of necessity. The Hainanese were among the last Chinese dialect groups to migrate to Singapore, and they often found work in the kitchens of British colonial homes. This toast was their adaptation, a local twist on the Western breakfast they served. It was perfected over decades in kapishams, or coffee shops, and elevated from a simple, cheap snack to a national symbol. In a country built from immigrants, Chinese, Malay, Indian, Eurasian, there were few truly shared cultural touchstones in the early days. So, Singapore did what it does best: it identified, refined, branded, and promoted one. The Kaya toast set is more than breakfast. It's a piece of engineered nostalgia, a common denominator in a complex equation of identities. It's delicious, yes, but it's also a deliberate act of nation building you can taste. It teaches us a fundamental lesson about this place. If a shared culture doesn't exist organically, you meticulously create it. As we leave, the cashier reminds us not to get it, to go, because the toast gets soggy and loses its perfection. This obsession with getting the formula exactly right, we will soon see, applies to everything. From the engineered comfort of breakfast, we move to a place that feels steeped in an older, more romantic history: Kampong Glam. We walk towards the magnificent golden dome of the Sultan Mosque, the spiritual heart of Singapore's Malay, Muslim community. The mosque is a stunning landmark that anchors the entire district, a declaration of faith that has stood for nearly a century. Around it, streets like Arab Street and Haji Lane burst with color and life. Here, you'll find vibrant murals depicting a bygone era, shops selling exotic Persian carpets, and hand-blended, non-alcoholic perfumes called attar. you find trendy boutiques tucked into beautifully restored historic shophouses. It feels authentic. It feels organic. A welcome pocket of beautiful chaos. But look closer. This entire area is a carefully curated exhibit. This district's existence is rooted in the 1822 town plan of Sir Stamford Raffles, who allocated specific areas to Singapore's different ethnic groups as a way of managing his colonial port city. Kampong Glam was designated for the Malay, Bugis, and Arab communities. Fast forward to the 1980s, and like many historic districts, it was slated for demolition to make way for modern development. A fierce public debate ensued, a rare and passionate pushback against the state's relentless, unsentimental march of progress. The government relented, but on its own terms. The area was preserved, but also sanitized, gentrified, and commercialized under a master plan. The historical street art we admire is largely commissioned, a romanticized vision of the past painted with official approval. It's street art without the rebellion. The cute little shops in Haji Lane, while charming, are part of a deliberate economic strategy to attract tourists and a younger, hipper crowd, replacing older, traditional businesses. This is the Singaporean paradox in plain sight. It's a nation that understands the immense value of its heritage, but it approaches preservation with the precision of a surgeon, not the gentle hand of a historian. The past is allowed to exist, but only within carefully defined, commercially viable parameters. It's a living museum, but the curator is always watching, ensuring nothing is out of place. You can feel the history here, but you also feel the invisible hand that has polished it, packaged it, and put it on display. The question it forces us to ask is a difficult one. When you preserve history this perfectly, do you also freeze its soul? Is this preservation or a beautiful form of taxidermy? A short bus ride takes us into a different world, yet one governed by the same invisible logic. Chinatown. The magnificent Buddha Tooth Relic Temple stands as a modern monument, built in 2007. Yet designed with meticulous Tang Dynasty architectural styles. It's a powerful statement of the community's prosperity and enduring faith. But look around. Just meters away stands the Sri Mariamman Temple, the city's oldest Hindu temple, with its riotously colorful Gopuram tower teeming with deities. This juxtaposition isn't an accident, it's a message. This is managed multiculturalism, a visual reminder of the nation's official policy of racial and religious harmony. But the true, beating heart of Singaporean daily life lies just across the street, Maxwell Food Center. This is a hawker center. It's a sprawling, open-air food court, a glorious cacophony of sounds and smells. The clanging of woks, the sizzle of oil, the sharp calls of vendors. Dozens of stalls, each a tiny kingdom run by a master of their craft, serve up legendary dishes for just a few dollars. Tian Tian Hainanese chicken rice, Jun Jun porridge, Maxwell Fuzhou oyster cake. This is where Singapore's multicultural promise is delivered on a plate. It's loud, it's crowded, and to an outsider, it seems like pure chaos. But it is not. This, too, is a product of radical, intelligent design. Hawker centers were created by the government in the 1960s and 70s to solve a major problem. Thousands of itinerant street food vendors crowded the streets, and while their food was beloved, they were deemed unhygienic and disruptive to public order. In a typically pragmatic Singaporean move, the government didn't just ban them, it moved them. They built these centers, gave vendors their own stalls with running water and electricity, and enforced strict hygiene standards. It was a brilliant stroke of social engineering. It preserved the city's priceless culinary heritage while imposing order and control. Today, This hawker culture is recognized as a UNESCO intangible cultural heritage of humanity. And within this controlled environment, a fascinating, unwritten social contract emerges. Look at the tables. You'll see them marked not with people, but with packets of tissue paper, a company lanyard, or an old umbrella. This is CHOP, the informal, universally respected system of reserving a seat. You leave a low-value personal item, go order your food, and the entire community honors your claim. It's a system built on staggering levels of public trust. But it's a trust backed by the implicit understanding that in Singapore, there are always consequences. An old phone can sit on a table for half an hour, untouched. This isn't just good manners, it's the result of a society where surveillance is omnipresent and the rule of law is absolute and swift. After our meal, a new rule is in effect, broadcast on screens around the center. It is now a punishable offense not to return your tray and utensils to the designated station. This small act encapsulates the Singaporean model, providing an affordable, high-quality public good, while demanding civic responsibility from its citizens in return, enforced with penalties. It is freedom within a meticulously designed framework. It is the most authentic, democratic experience you can have in Singapore, and it is entirely state-controlled. To truly grasp the scale of this national project, we must visit the place where the dream was drawn up. Across from Maxwell is the Singapore City Gallery. You might expect a typical, dusty museum of history. But what you get is something else entirely. This is the command center of Singapore's urban transformation, and it is perhaps the most honest place in the entire country. Inside, a massive, stunningly detailed architectural model of the entire city, state lies before us. It's a god's eye view of the island. And the story it tells is breathtaking. 200 years ago, this was a swampy, malaria-infested trading post with a population of a few hundred. Today, it is one of the world's most advanced, greenest, and wealthiest cities. This did not happen by chance. It happened by design. The gallery walks you through the sheer audacity of Singapore's vision. When faced with a housing crisis and ethnic strife in the 1960s, the government created the Housing Development Board, CHDB. It then built public housing for over 80% of its population and implemented the Ethnic Integration Policy, a controversial but crucial rule that dictates the racial proportions of residents in each block to prevent the formation of ethnic enclaves and force daily interaction. When faced with a lack of land, Singapore embarked on one of the world's most aggressive land reclamation projects, increasing its landmass by over 25%. They are literally fighting back the ocean to build their future, with an area the size of Manhattan conjured from the sea. When faced with a total lack of natural resources, they invested everything in their only resource, their people. They built a world-class education system and focused on human capital, turning the island into a global hub for finance, logistics, and technology. This is the legacy of its founding father, Lee Kuan Yew, and his philosophy of relentless, unsentimental pragmatism. The gallery doesn't shy away from this top-down, authoritarian approach. It celebrates it. It shows a leadership that believed it knew what was best for its people and had the absolute political will to execute its vision, often at the cost of the personal freedoms and political dissent common in Western democracies. You leave the City Gallery with a profound sense of awe at the scale of human ingenuity. You also leave with a chilling understanding of what it takes to build a utopia. It requires an unwavering belief in the plan, and the power to ensure everyone follows it. With the architect's blueprint fresh in our minds, we head to its most spectacular creation, Gardens by the Bay. As you exit the train station and walk towards the waterfront, you feel like you've stepped onto another planet or into the pages of a fantasy novel. Towering tree, like structures of steel and purple, painted concrete, the super trees dominate the skyline. Two massive, climate-controlled glass biomes, the flower dome and the cloud forest, shimmer in the sun like giant, crystalline beetles. This is Singapore's powerful answer to the old charge that it is a concrete jungle. They have declared themselves a city in a garden. But this is not nature as you know it. This is nature perfected, optimized, and controlled by technology. The flower dome recreates a cool, dry Mediterranean climate, showcasing breathtaking displays of flowers and trees from around the world that could never survive in the oppressive tropical heat just meters away. The cloud forest houses an entire 35-meter-tall man-made mountain draped in lush vegetation and complete with the world's tallest indoor waterfall, sustaining a misty, cool environment for highland tropical plants. It is breathtakingly beautiful. It is also completely artificial. The super trees are a masterpiece of eco-engineering. They are not just sculptures. They are vertical gardens teeming with over 160,000 plants. They also contain photovoltaic cells to harvest solar energy for the nightly light show, and they collect rainwater to be used in the park's irrigation systems, mimicking the ecological functions of real trees. It's a powerful symbol of Singapore's core philosophy. Technology can not only coexist with nature, it can enhance it, improve upon it, even replace it when necessary. In a country with no room for sprawling national parks, they built one vertically. They didn't have a mountain, so they constructed one inside a glass dome. It's the ultimate expression of Singapore's problem-solving ethos. If you lack it, build it better. But this manufactured Eden comes at a price. A ticket to visit both domes is expensive for a non-resident, creating a clear divide. While the magnificent surrounding grounds are free, the most spectacular parts are behind a paywall. As night falls, we gather at the Super Tree Grove for the Garden Rhapsody, a free light and sound show. The trees erupt in a symphony of coordinated lights, set to soaring, cinematic music. It is a magical, immersive experience. You lie on the ground, looking up, and you can't help but be swept away. Yet, a question lingers in the air, amidst the dazzling lights. Is this spectacle a celebration of nature, or a celebration of humanity's total power to control it? Our final stop is the grand stage itself, Marina Bay. We walk across the bridge towards the iconic Marina Bay Sands Hotel, the building that looks like a futuristic spaceship perched atop three massive towers. This single project was a strategic gamble by the government to fundamentally change Singapore's image, to inject vibrancy and fun into its sterile reputation, and to bring in vast revenue through its casino. A highly controversial decision in a socially conservative nation. The building houses a luxury shopping mall, a casino, and one of the world's most famous infinity pools. The mall itself is a temple to consumerism, with a canal running through it where you can take a sampan boat ride. It is absurd, opulent, and undeniably impressive. As we emerge onto the waterfront, we are greeted by one of the most famous skylines on Earth. The Merlion, the mythical half-fish, half-lion creature, stands guard. Itself a marketing creation from the 1960s, a brand logo designed for a new nation that needed one. It has since become an authentic and beloved symbol. Across the bay, the glittering towers of the central business district rise into the night. It is the ultimate image of success, the physical manifestation of a nation's ambition. And then, The second free light show of the night begins. Spectra, a 15-minute spectacle of lasers, fountains, and projections set to an orchestral score, erupts from the water in front of Marina Bay Sands. It's a performance designed to inspire awe, to project an image of a confident, futuristic, and triumphant nation. And as we stand here, taking it all in, the perfectly clean promenade, the flawless light shows, the impossibly beautiful skyline, all the pieces of our journey click into place. The engineered breakfast, the curated history, the controlled chaos of the hawker centers, the architectural blueprint of the nation, the manufactured gardens. It all leads to this. This is the final product. This dazzling spectacle of order, prosperity, and control. This skyline wasn't built just with steel and glass. It was built with a series of profound and difficult trade-offs. The trade of some individual freedoms for communal safety. The trade of messy, organic growth for clean, planned efficiency. The trade of a robust, noisy political opposition for long-term stability and economic progress. This glittering view is the dividend paid on a national investment. The premium was a degree of press freedom, the freedom to protest, the kind of messy, unpredictable politics common elsewhere. The return is this safety, stability, prosperity. For most Singaporeans, it has been a deal worth taking. Singapore is a triumph, but it is a brilliant, beautiful, and deeply unsettling paradox. We came here to see a city, but we found the story of a nation built by design. Singapore is more than just its tourist attractions. It's a living case study in pragmatism, control, and the relentless pursuit of a vision. It proves that with enough will and a clear blueprint, you can build a paradise. But it forces us to ask what the definition of paradise truly is, and what price we're willing to pay for it. What part of this journey surprised you the most? Was it the story behind the food, the curated heritage, or the sheer scale of the city's engineering? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this story gave you a new perspective, consider sharing it with a fellow traveler who loves to look beyond the surface. And for more deep dives into the world's most fascinating places, make sure to subscribe. Until next time, keep exploring.